off all the parts of Bereshit on the reconciliation of Yosef. And if you look at Yosef's words, they really wrap up the entire book of Bereshit. What does he say? Yaakov dies, the brothers come to him, they're scared he's going to take their vengeance. They say, Dad told us, you got to treat us fairly. And Yosef says to them, I instead of God, you guys thought it was bad. It was really good. My job was here to feed you and take care of you and set you up for the next generation. God started with plan A. Plan A was I'm going to build this garden. I'm going to make this thing called man. Man subjectively doesn't know right from wrong, good from evil. I have this tree. I am God. I objectively know what is good and bad. Man is too subjective, he can't figure it out. But they eat from the tree, they get kicked out of the garden. Next generation, Cain kills his brother, takes judgment into his own hands, becomes executioner, is asked, where's your brother? Am I my brother's keeper? So he starts again, plan B with Noah. God recognizes that man has some innate evil, and we get to the Dor HaFlaga, who says, you know what, enough of God, we're gonna build a city, make a name for ourselves, not for God. We don't need God in our lives. God goes to plan C. Plan C is I'm going to start with one family, headed by this man named Avraham, and through Avraham and his family and his generations, I'm going to disseminate my values to the people of earth, to mankind. This is plan C. So how does Yosef's reconciliation wind everything up? Yosef says, am I God? Am I God? You thought was bad, God thought was good. So you can't tell subjectively what's good and bad. It's up to God to tell objectively what's good and bad. Am I my brother's keeper? Hell yeah, I am my brother's keeper. You were your brother's keeper. You messed it up. I am here to feed you. I'm here to set you up for the next generation. The Dor HaFlaga says we didn't want God in our midst. No, God is in our midst. God is with us every day. Abraham's message, Abraham is carrying that message. He walks in front of God. He's the Ish Tamim. He is Tzedek Mishpat. Yitzchak carries it next. Yaakov and the family starts to get off track, but Yosef's there to put it back on track. We are the family of Avraham. This is our job. We're setting you up for the next generation to be that descendant who's going to transmit the values to the world. Yaakov says to Yosef, El Shaddai came to me at Luz, at Beit El, and he told me to walk in front of him. And he calls God Roeh, Roeh with an Aleph. God showed me, and he calls him Roeh with an Ayin. God is my shepherd. What is a God who's an El Shaddai that I walk in front of? The shepherd leads from behind. He is the guy looking over, seeing where it's safe to go. In that sense, that's walking in front of God, doing what I'm supposed to do, but really God is behind, looking out for me and making sure I'm going in the right direction. God's going to come to Moshe and say, your fathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they knew me as El Shaddai. But I'm going to tell you, I'm Yud Kei Vav Kei as well. Yud Kei Vav Kei is usually the creator, but what does it mean to have a God that's a Yud Kei Vav Kei? He says to Moshe, look, I used to lead from behind. Now you're going to see me lead from in front. I'm going to take these Jews out of Egypt. And I was just thinking about the times we're in right now and our relationship with God and when we're praying to God. He has been an El Shaddai. He's been leading from behind. We've been forging our own path as a Jewish nation, and he's been making sure we don't veer left or right. He's been calling the shots from behind. But we're at a different time in our lives, and you got to ask in your relationships and when you're talking to God, do you want the El Shaddai or do you want the Yud Kei Vav Kei? I think there's a time where we need to say, we need the Yud Kei Vav Kei, God. We can't do this ourselves. We want to see you lead. We know you have a plan for us. We want to see this plan come in motion. Be the Yud Kei Vav Kei God for us and lead us from the front. It's a concept of God we should all consider when we're praying and forging our relationship with Him. I think now's the time we really want Him leading us from our front.